Okay, we're going to try this again. So, I actually just recorded this entire video twice. Both times the audio didn't work. So we're going to pretend that this is try number 1 and that I got it right on the first try. Isn't technology great, guys? I mean, we've been using it for so long and yet it still manages to confuse us and mess us up. I just love how it works. So, in any case, the view that you can see here on screen is actually the view from our timeshare. We stayed at the Jockey Club, and we were there for the entire time. It was a wonderful stay. This is the first time we've ever had a view from our room. Normally, we got the view of the side of the building, and kind of ugly and dark and cold, and, well, thankfully it was cold when it was hot, and we were there during the summer, but Vegas was freezing while this time. Probably mid-40s to low 50s. Not a great place to be if you don't like the cold. But in any case, just go back in the summer if you want to balance it out. So, go ahead and get started here. Our first day, when we went into the show, I'm going to zoom in a bit here, we found stormtroopers. Now, whether this was a sign of what was to come in the show, I don't know. But we saw stormtroopers, and that made us smile. So we were kind of hoping they'd be walking around the show, but they never came in. They just kind of stood out there. I don't know. Don't know why. So we kept on moving, and that first day, we came to the Sony booth first. And the Sony booth, I'm not sure if you can see right here, had Smurfs sitting on mushrooms. Now, I don't know how many of you get the reference, but Smurfs on mushrooms, very colorful mushrooms. I definitely enjoyed seeing this exhibit. They were actually demoing their 3D bloggy camera, which Judy has probably already talked about. Their 3D bloggy camera, actually, which can be seen down here in the lower left, very small, has 2 lenses and actually records in full HD in 3D. Now, this is the smallest 3D HD camera that's out there on the market now, and it does produce stunning images. Now, the one thing is, it is passive 3D when you're watching it, so of course, it leaves a little bit to be desired in terms of the quality of the 3D itself, but still pretty amazing. Then the model number on this specific one is MHS-FS3, for those of you who'd like to look it up. And once again, this is a Sony product, the Sony Blog 3D camcorder. So while we were at the Sony booth, we also checked out some other cameras. I found the DSC TX10, and this camera is actually waterproof, dustproof, shockproof, and freeze-proof. Now, for those of us who enjoy travel and enjoy going to remote parts of the globe, it actually does make perfect sense to have a camera like this. 3-inch touchscreen on the back, and full 1080 HD recording. So, the idea that you can bring this little camera with you and get the same quality that you would get out of one of those $500 piece of junk massive camcorders, that's pretty crazy. And I gotta say, I think it was around $400 was the price point for this. It's just an amazing camera. I ended up getting the TX7 for my girlfriend just a few months ago, and she loves it. But I wish I had seen this one and waited a little bit longer, because waterproof, dustproof, shockproof, and freeze-proof, that sounds good. So, moving on, we also saw this company, Glowrite. They produce these signs, which are actually backlit signs, let you write on them using dry erase or wet erase markers, and then they'll glow different colors. The retail on these was somewhere between $150 and $200. I believe this board is about 1.5 feet by 2 feet, and definitely big enough to make a difference in your small business, make a difference in the signage, so people walking by see it and go, wow, that's interesting. Why don't I stop and look? And, of course, they flash different colors, too, so they get people's attention. Then this is the iGugu PC controller, and it can be used for a number of things. I liked it because I was able to play demos of Call of Duty on their demo machines using the trackpad and the trackball, as well as the keyboard. And interestingly enough, also, I actually wanted to use this originally for the keyboard and for use with a home theater system. This retails at $99, but can be had for around $60 on Amazon. And it's perfect for controlling your home theater. You put it on your coffee table, use it on your couch, you can use it from your bed, you can use it from pretty much anywhere. And the great thing is, all you do is make sure that your PC is connected to your TV. And these days, VGA, HDMI, S-Video, you've got a number of ways that you can get your computer to your TV. And there are cables that are 25-foot cables for $5 or $10. Go to monoprice.com. That's MONO price.com. And you can check out their cable selection. Very cheap, very easy to set up. And then you've got your full-featured computer with a controller that you can use on your TV. So, next, I'm going to talk about... Oh, of course, we stopped by the Motorola booth, and they had this giant Motorola Droid out. I believe this was the Motorola Droid X, or probably the Droid 2, as a demo. Massive demo, of course. The screen on this is 2 feet by 3 feet or so, as you can see by Judy standing next to it. Pretty huge screen, and I wanted to feel at home, so I put the San Francisco Zoo on it. It was functional, of course. So now I'd like to talk a little bit about MakerBot, as you can see up on the screen. MakerBot was definitely the company that I enjoyed the most at the show this year. MakerBot has this MakerBot automated build platform. And interestingly enough, it actually acts as a 3D printer. So if you're not familiar with what a 3D printer is, it essentially prints layers on an object and then produces a 3D object when it's done. So this specific printer could print with 3 different types of plastic, and interestingly enough, the plastic is in a little spindle down here at the bottom that you might be able to see, sold by the pound, MakerBot, or you can buy it anywhere, any major plastic supplier. The plastic then comes up, goes down this little tube right here, and into a superheated tip, which then prints the image. The platform right here moves around in order to determine where the printing will happen. And interestingly enough, it takes any 3D image, so any 3D model made with any software, it can import into its own software and print. So you could use Google Sketch, you could use AutoCAD, you could use any 3D modeling software. And that's a huge bonus for those of us who don't want to learn something new. Now, if you're not familiar with 3D images or 3D design, you don't have to be. There's something called Thingiverse that they invented, that they came up with, and they built a website for. It's essentially a user community where people share their 3D models. So all you have to do is go on, grab a 3D model that you think is cool, and you can print them and make them for your friends. Very simple, great for prototyping, very entertaining, and a great party favor. If you can make customized plastic doohickeys, let's say you can make bottle openers. That was one of the options that they had there, one of the 3D models they were demoing. You put it in, set the queue to 20 items, and once it's done, it'll actually just take this platform, it'll raise it up, and it'll flop the item right off the front. So you can build as many as you want, as long as you still have plastic in the machine. So, that's MakerBot, once again, M-A-K-E-R-B-O-T, MakerBot Industries, and my favorite item at CES this year. Now I'm going to move on to Woot. We stopped by Woot booth, and Woot, of course, has their lovely flying monkeys. I love their flying monkeys. It's just, something about Woot makes me smile. It's a day site. Actually, here, this is their wholesale version, but Woot.com is a deal-a-day site where they put a different item every day. And normally it's at an extreme discount. Great deal. Definitely not the kind of site that you would go to when you're looking for a specific item, but they do have pretty much everything at some point on their site. So if you bookmark them, check them every day, you'll find something interesting to get. We saw this massive backpack from a company called Everki, and another one of those lovely pictures that I just had to show you. As you can see, the picture is of the backpack that is larger than Judy. It's taller than her, and it's just amazing. I'm sure you could have fit at least 4 of her inside that backpack. And not many companies can show a backpack that big at the show. I mean, I'd fit my entire family essentially in there. And think about how